Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the news briefing for this Wednesday. We are going to start the briefing today with an update about the Pajaro Assistance Program. We have Mindy Esqueda from the Department of Emergency Management to give us some great news, an update on the launch of Phase 1. Hi, Mindy.
Hi, thank you, Maya. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So, So again, these are the hours of the Pajaro, the application site. The main information that we want to relay today, I'm going to go ahead and share that one as well, is that we have today we are going to be rolling out the Phase 1 of the assistance, and that's going to be distributed. This is the food assistance in form of a grocery gift card. This is going to be distributed by Community Bridges. And so the important information that we want to relay to the public is we are very pleased and happy to be rolling out this Phase 1 assistance. It's going to be distributed again by Community Bridges, and it is by appointment only. So Community Bridges is already calling the approved applicants that have qualified for Phase 1. They're calling them to provide them with a date and time and appointment where they can go to the Pajaro Park at the application center to receive this Phase 1 assistance. So that'll be a process. And so we just want to remind everyone to wait for that appointment. And so that's how they will be receiving that Phase 1 assistance. I'm going to go ahead
and Mindy, if you could get a little closer to your computer, your audio is just a little soft.
maybe I'll just go ahead with the.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I was trying not to have to do that, but no problem. Okay, let me go ahead and sorry, let me make this bigger. Okay. So again, yeah, it's being distributed by Community Bridges. And so the other part that I want to let everybody know is that April 27th is the last day to apply for the assistance. So that is next Saturday at the Pajaro Park. So currently what we're doing is the county is calling all residents who have already applied but might be missing some documentation to provide that required documentation. So if you're getting a call from the county, please make sure to come back in to return before the 27th. That is the final day to apply or to submit any missing documents to qualify for the assistance. So I will go ahead and let me. So that's basically the information that we want to relay today. Again, just that it's by appointment only for the assistance, and that the county will be calling to return or apply, to return to any missing documents. And I'm available for any questions if anyone has.
And are you able to share this information in Spanish as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go ahead and get this bigger here. Sorry. Okay, so let me do the new share, and I will share this with you. Okay. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Okay. Entonces, estamos muy emocionados ahora para anunciar que el condado está empezando en la fase 1 del programa de asistencia para pájaro. Esa asistencia, como habíamos mencionado, es en forma de asistencia de comida, como una tarjeta se puede usar para comida. Esta fase está siendo coordinado por Puentes de la Comunidad o Community Bridges. Ellos son la agencia que está encargando de toda esa fase. Lo que están haciendo es están llamando a todas las personas que ya calificaron, que ya sometieron su aplicación y fueron calificados. La Puente de la Comunidad está llamando para programar una cita. Esta de fase 1, la asistencia está haciendo solamente por citas. Entonces, cuando recibe la llamada de Puentes de la Comunidad, les van a dar su hora y su fecha. Ya cuando tienen ese día, esa cita, pueden ir al centro de vacaciones en Pajaro Park y pueden recibir ya su ayuda. Como le digo aquí, si tienen preguntas, si quieren llamar directamente a Puentes de la Comunidad, aquí está el número en el volante. Y también queremos hacerles saber a todos los residentes que el 27 de abril es el último día para aplicar para esta asistencia. Así que si no han ido a aplicar y son residentes de Pájaro y fueron afectados por las inundaciones el año pasado en marzo, por favor vayan al centro de Pájaro Park para aplicar. Además, si ya aplicaran y les faltó documentaciones que son requeridos, el condado está actualmente llamando a todas esas personas para que regresen a meter los documentos que les falta. Eso sí es un requisito para recibir la ayuda. Así es que estoy llamando a toda la gente que les falta y les recordamos que el 27 es el último día. Gracias. That's it,
Thank
Maya.
you very much, Mindy. And I do have a couple of questions. First question, is there an update on how many have applied through the assistance program?
Yeah, currently we have, and I can only speak to the resident part of it because the workforce, I would have to connect with them in the business. On the household assistance, we are upwards to 700 at this time, close to 700 that have applied.
Fantastic. And then is phase one rolling out? Is this phase one rollout coming sooner than expected, or is this really kind of are we on track?
I would say we're pretty much on track, Mia. This was the goal. We were hoping to be able to roll this out as soon as possible. So we just needed to get through that initial round of, those hundreds of applications that we received. But we've just been working diligently to get this help to everyone, that needs it, to, at least something right away that they can have while the other disaster assistance is in process.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Mindy before we go on to our next topics? I'm saying none. Thank you, Mindy. I know you kind of came in at the last minute. We really appreciate the information.
Thank you for giving us a chance to provide. Thank you.
Oh, and I think this is a clarification. Emphasizing community bridges is calling people who have qualified. People don't have to come and wonder if they're going to get the call if they qualify.
Right. So so this assistance is by appointment only. And the appointments are being coordinated by Community Bridges. That's the agency that, we're collaborating with to provide that assistance. And so they are handling all of it. So we don't have any way to provide that. It's all from Community Bridges. So people, if they do go to the center, we're just going to relay the same information I'm relaying now and just, just show up at that date and time that you've been given. And if you have any questions, then again, on that flyer is the number for Community Bridges that they can call and inquire about that.
Thank you. And we'll share the flyer with our those on the call after it's done. Thank you again, Mindy, much appreciate it.
Thank you, Maya. Have a good day.
Thank you. And now we're going to go to the latest on the situation at the Rocky Creek Bridge slip out. We're very pleased to have all of our partners who have been in part of this process. We'd like to start with Kevin Drabinski and Zeke Dellamas, both from CalTrans. Gentlemen, welcome, and hope you can give us an update on efforts there.
Well, it's an honor to follow a presentation that highlights community bridges. In essence, Highway 1 on the Big Sur coast, every little section of it provides bridges to the community. That's perhaps today more evident than ever. Thus, the importance and the extra effort that's going in to stabilize this roadway and to establish a permanent repair at this location. We're also thankful for sunshine today. Just of all the complicating factors that can get in the way of production efforts, it's nice to see sunshine, moderate winds that shouldn't be troubling us. CalTrans was able to announce at the end of last week that we are expecting to complete the first phase of stabilization efforts by Monday, May 27th. And so that's an important milestone because it will let us, get away from all the, from having to run convoys and establish kind of like open 24/7 access through the slip out area. This week was important in that we were able to complete the installation of the vertical rock dowels along the edge of the roadway. That'll be followed by efforts to install horizontal rock dowels. They form a kind of, if you will, like a wire basket of support that helps spread the load out and stabilizes the edge of the roadway. We have on site this week, and we're beginning those horizontal drilling this week. And we're also been able to get on an adjacent outcropping to the slip out, a light tower. And we're expected that tonight will be our first overnight shift where we're able to work, as it were, around the clock to try and really put our best effort, every possible effort forward to advancing the day when we can open this this road up to signalized traffic. As much as we can say about our efforts, those that are in the Big Sur community will certainly recognize that it's rare enough for us to do work during overnight hours. All the more amazing that this work involves a massive crane that strides across the northbound lane and then is able to reach out and drop a basket of workers and machinery out to do those repairs. So we're excited to be able to move on to the horizontal drilling, and that gets us closer to the end of stabilization work. I'm speaking remotely and by way of pictures, but my colleague Zeke Dellamas was able to be on site there yesterday, and he has some additional observations to progress at the repair site.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Zeke Dellamas. I'm in the maintenance engineering group, and I think I met many of you over the years and working in my capacity as an emergency manager. And as Kevin alluded to, I was able to be out on site yesterday, and we are making good progress out there. As far as some of the work I was able to help get laid out yesterday was the installation of the temporary signal system. So we're working closely with our prime contractor, which is Kirk Construction, and our electrical subcontractor is Darryl Varney Electrical. And so we're moving forward while we have the road closed to be doing multiple things simultaneously. And one of them will be the work involved with the temporary installation of this signal system. And as Kevin talked about, that it'll be a one-way reversing signal like the community has seen in the past with other work on the bridges in this segment pretty recently. PG&E was fantastic. They were out on site with us and helping us coordinate how we'll drop down the power to that. And then that signal system will be like other signals you've seen out there that will be controlled by power, and then there'll be a backup system on that. And just want to kind of remind everybody that while that's going on, the signal system will be activated as soon as the temporary repairs are completed. And so that's kind of an important distinction there. Just because we're working on the signal system, the unrestricted access will begin as soon as we're done, and hopefully the signal system will be able to be turned on right after that. If not, we'll make provisions to get people through once the work is done. So there might be a day during cleanup or something where we're having to flag people through that area or use like a trailer mounted temporary signal system. So, you know, that was a really, it was nice to be on site, see the crane in place. Some of the work yesterday involved some safety features such as removing some loose rock from the area where they're going to be drilling in this horizontal capacity, as Kevin alluded to, you know, out of a rather large crane basket supported by a rather large crane. Wind is a factor, but Weather Service has been great in providing us updates and keeping us informed on what we should be expecting, and you know, we're planning around that accordingly. In addition to the temporary signal system and the ongoing temporary stabilization work, we're also moving forward on a parallel path for the permanent restoration of a full 2 lanes out there. So again, taking as much advantage of the opportunities that present themselves with this area being closed and trying to complete as much work as possible in that limited space. But I do expect that we will, in the coming weeks, start to see the subsurface investigation happen. And that's a key component of designing that structural solution, right? You have to do an investigation to determine what size of supports will ultimately be utilized in the permanent restoration. So that's ongoing. And other facets of that, getting the survey completed, the design teams on board, and engaging, our structural design team as well as the district designers who will be established the alignment, and our resource folks. So I'm pretty confident that we're moving in a real positive direction on that front, and we don't have a timeline for that yet. Of course, we're still really in the preliminary phases of that, but just rest assured that we're moving into phase 2, if you will, as rapidly as possible. That would be the end of my report, unless anybody has any questions regarding the project or what I saw when I was out on site yesterday.
We do have one question that came in, and you might have already answered it, but when is the installation of the signal going to be? And there could be 2 parts, like when will the signal be there and the process begin to put that in versus when it will, I know you've given a target date to kind of open up to traffic.
Yeah, our intent is to ensure that that temporary signal system is installed prior to the completion or the target date of that work. So it'll take us a couple of weeks to get the whole signal system installed and ready to go, but we anticipate that that'll be well in advance, or at least in advance of the reopening. Does that answer the question?
I think so. I think it's
okay.
You really don't want to say until it's in place.
Well, and it's important to remember that signal system will be installed, but it won't be activated and turned on until we're done. So we'll still continue to rely exclusively on the convoys until such time. But as soon as we're done with the repair, the convoys will cease and we'll turn the signal system on.
Thank you. And then one thing, Kevin, that you spoke about, you talked about night work. It's somewhat unusual for CalTrans to do night work. Does that just show the importance of this repair?
Yeah, well, that's definitely the case. We're putting every effort on it. We just able to take advantage, and maybe Zeke can speak to the construction specifics, but the fact that we have the area closed and we're able to come up with the way in which we're able to continue with the repairs at night allows us to do so right now.
Yeah,
then,
absolutely. We typically don't see a lot of work out there at night, and especially when we're dealing with slides above the road, right? It's always been a policy. It's a very dangerous to try to do slide remediation. In this situation, utilizing the crane and the horizontal drilling, we've been able to light that area up really well. And our contractor, or our subcontractor in this case, that's Drill Tech, who is a sub to Tykert, was comfortable with the concept of running 2 12-hour shifts, so running around the clock continuously to try to expedite this repair to the greatest extent possible. Night work is challenging. Visibility is limited, and I'd kind of like to remind everybody that it is drilling, and subsurface drilling is always a challenge, right? There's a lot of opportunities for things to go wrong, drills break, air, everything else. So that's one of the challenges that we face. But yeah, we started night work last night actually. Some of that, testing this out, lighting this area up. We had men in those baskets that we were talking about, removing some of that loose rock. Today they're implementing some additional safety features just to ensure that we don't see any movement in that area where the crane is perched, and then we'll be starting in earnest the horizontal drilling, and then that'll happen in lifts. There's 5 rows to do, so you don't do all the drilling at once and then come back and shotcrete it because you're worried about working at the next lower level. So there'll be a horizontal row installation followed by the reinforced shotcrete, and then more subsurface drilling of these horizontal rock bolts. So yeah, I hope that answers the question on the night work.
Thank you. And then another question, will the repair include the viaduct that you spoke about last week?
Yeah, that's going to be the phase 2. All signs are pointing to a viaduct. That's the most viable, no pun intended, the most viable solution out there, though, is a viaduct. It'll probably be a 3-span viaduct. The adjacent Rocky Creek viaduct that was done in 11-12 it was quite similar. This one is much shorter than that one. It doesn't have the some of the challenges that we previously had with the horizontal and vertical alignment, right? There's some super elevation in there as it goes around the curves. So yeah, we're looking towards that. And again, I kind of touched on one of the first phases of that is the geotechnical work, which is the subsurface investigation. So all signs are pointing to a viaduct, and the development of that project is running on a parallel track. So phase one, temporary stabilization, followed by the installation and or completion of that signal system, turning that on, and then the ongoing effort to begin or finish the design and then begin the construction of full restoration of this site.
Thank you. Any other questions for Kevin or Zeke before we move on? Seeing none, thank you both. We're going to now turn to Jessica Madueno, who with the California Highway Patrol, to talk a little bit about the convoys that are still in place and of course so critical to the Big Sur community.
Yes, thank you, Maya, for having me. Thank you, everyone. Yes, just wanted to remind everybody about the convoys that they continue at 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then again at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. I had the opportunity to work the convoys this past Monday, so I got a chance to really see what exactly went on. And just to give you an idea, the northbound convoy will always go first. That group tends to take about 20 minutes to travel northbound, and then the southbound traffic will go right after that, depending on how large the group is. And we'll continue these convoys until we get done with all the traffic for that full hour, which tends to be about 5 or 6 different groups throughout that hour that get a chance to travel. But just remember that northbound will always take priority to go first in that convoy to get the Big Sur community out. And those that want to travel south will stand by for that.
Thank you. And then people who aren't part of the convoy, does it go smoothly? Is everybody kind of working together and remaining patient in order to get through?
Yes, thank you for that. They sure are. The hard part of this convoy is actually on the northbound side because we're screening every single car. And as we're doing that, we are turning around about 40 vehicles on average during the week. And then on the weekends, that number goes up to about 75 vehicles on the weekends that we're turning around. Now, keep in mind, half of those numbers, given the weekend or the weekday, are actually trying to go down to Southern California. The other half of those numbers are trying to get down to Bixby Bridge. They don't realize that the closure doesn't get them to that location, and but they seem very understandable, which is really great. And I just want to thank our partners, Tech Art Construction, CalTrans, and the Big Sur community for their understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Jessica on the convoy or any of the information that she shared? Seeing none, thank you, Jessica, as always, for filling us in on the convoy work. We'd like to turn to Chief Matt Harris with Big Sur Fire to give us more information about what is happening down in Big Sur. And in light of the crane coming in, there were certainly had to look at safety issues for the Big Sur residents. Hi, Chief Harris.
Yeah, it's certainly a dynamic situation still, and we must give way to the construction crews and allow them to do their projects, on their terms. We stand in shoulder to shoulder with our law enforcement partners and support the convoy plan. We are open to, reconsideration, but it's going to be a group decision. Our emergency response plan is the same as I've been reporting out on. County EMS has come up with an alternative transport plan for the occlusion of Highway 1, which means taking to the air. So we have a list of air ambulances that we regularly use for specific calls. This has opened it up for transport for all types of calls that need transport to the hospital. So we feel confident in our ability to respond to the community's needs, and that takes into consideration that may be in the area too. So In terms of fire season coming up, I think we'll get opened up just in the nick of time before we start to see any sort of fire season concerns. And aside from that, all systems are normal in Big Sur.
Chief Harris, I'm wondering if you could turn off your picture. I normally don't ask that, but your bandwidth is very low. And I'm wondering if you could repeat the part about the alternative transport plan, just because there was a few audio problems.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, our alternative plan is county EMS and our emergency response partners came up with a plan to allow air ambulances to be used as a primary means of transport compared to ground ambulances for certain types of calls. So we will obviously consider accessing the construction site if it were during the convoy hours, or if it's a very minor medical that we could perhaps walk a person across that doesn't need to use the resource. But if it's any call of any significance, we won't hesitate to go to the air for transport. So we have that plan in place, and otherwise, all systems in Big Sur fire are normal.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Harris while we have him here today? No questions for you. I really appreciate the update, Chief, and for keeping us all informed. And then now we'd also like to bring in Kirk Gafill, president of the Big Sur Chamber of Commerce, to tell us how the Big Sur community, the business community, the residents are all handling the situation. Hi, Kirk.
Hi, thank you. Well, the business community very specifically is primarily focused on employee support and retention. That's our biggest challenge, next to just surviving the economic impacts of either being closed entirely or having very limited residential visitation due to the lack of public access in this period. We're also working with the Monterey County Department of Emergency Management to support survey data collection that can assist in whether a disaster declaration may be appropriate for this event, which could thus release some additional assistance and aid to both individuals and businesses from the economic damage. And also we're able to work with CalTrans and other agencies to ensure that we have a good understanding of the progress that the project is taking and how that may refine a potential opening date time, and to allow us to plan accordingly, and to work with other Big Sur community stakeholders as well to look at convoy management refinement where that may be appropriate. As Chief Harris indicated, if there are changes to the convoys, it really requires some community consensus. So we're trying to be part of that discussion and process. And for the typical resident experience, it is in many ways a much better one than, say, Pfeiffer Canyon Bridge. We miss the exertions and the conviviality of hiking up and down the access trail, but we also have a lot more convenience and opportunity to resupply and meet with our neighbors on the other side of the bridge by the convoys, and to be able to leave and enter the community. The timing of the convoys is inherently challenging. There are some constituencies that are always going to find another time would be optimal for their needs. And it's a bit like squeezing a water balloon. You satisfy one and you kind of push out another. So it's a real team effort with CHP, CalTrans, and the county, and the individual stakeholders in the community. And so far, everybody's working very constructively in that respect to find the best outcome.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for Kirk while we have him here? So residents are kind of sorry not to get their steps in like they did during the Pfeiffer Bridge.
Yeah, we had a remarkable experience with many people who were pre-diabetic who completely transitioned out of that phase to full health after hiking that trail for 2.5 months. So I don't know whether we're getting the same benefits with the convoy, but we have a lot more room and convenience to be able to move people and supplies through.
Thank you. No questions for you today. Really appreciate the update and keeping us informed about what we can't see past the if we're not on the convoy, we're not able to share.
Sure. Thank you.
And we also have Andy Rosas from the Monterey County Sheriff's Office to provide a law enforcement update. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Maya. Good afternoon. So as we learned yesterday with the updates provided by CalTrans, there's now a crane that's blocking the access during their work time, with the exception of the convoys. And so that presented a slight challenge in that prior to that, emergency vehicles were able to get through without any issues. What we have done at this point is we want to reassure our community that there is still law enforcement presence in the Big Sur area. And Jessica from CHP can speak to their resident officers. I believe they have 2. We also have State Parks that has, I believe it's 5 resident officers in that area. Our command staff here at the Sheriff's Office has spoken to both the Highway Patrol as well as the State Parks agencies to confirm that in the event of an emergency, there will be law enforcement response from either CHP or State Parks. In the event of something critical, we also have plans set in place in that, we do have vehicles staged on the opposite side of the road closure. So if our sheriff's deputies needed to respond to a call, they could actually get to the road closure, walk across, jump in another patrol car and respond to a critical event. We would also work with CalTrans in an extreme emergency to coordinate, moving of equipment if it got to that point. So the basic message from us is that we want to reassure the Big Sur community that there is still law enforcement response available in the event of any type of emergency, and that will continue through this process.
Thank you, Andy, very much. That's really great information, because I think of those of us who are on the outside are just wondering, how do you get past the convoy? How do you, get officers across when you've got a road closure there? So those plans are really important.
Yes.
Any questions for Andy on law enforcement and support in the Big Sur area? Seeing none, thank you, Andy, for jumping in, and thanks everyone for joining us to talk about what's happening at the slip out and the repair, and we look forward to more progress reports. I'm looking, I am not seeing Zulika Boykin from the Housing Authority on the call. Zulika, are you there? So I'm not seeing her. We'll try to get a hold of her, but we'd like to go on to our the following topic, and we might be able to come back to Zulika. We'd like to talk about the Salinas Valley Basin Groundwater Sustainability Agency topic, and that agency does play a very important role in managing water in the Salinas Valley. The agency is holding a series of community workshops over the next 2 months, and among the topics are how water is managed and water use efficiencies. If water is important to you, this is a great way to learn all about it. And we're very pleased to have Piret Harmon with the Salinas Valley Basin Groundwater Sustainability Agency here to talk about the program. Hi, Piret.
Hi, thank you so much for including me, and good afternoon, everyone. I am Piret Harmon.
You've muted yourself by accident. Piret, you've muted yourself.
There is, we had our first one last Friday on the 12th. So next one is coming up on the 19th. It's in Salinas. Then we skip a week. The following one is on May 3rd in Greenfield, May 10th in King City, and back in Salinas. One weekend workshop is on May 11th. We have detailed information on our website. It's svbgsa.org. And as Maya already said, it's about water. We have 2 large components for this agency being responsible for managing groundwater. One is supply side, the other one is the demand side. So these workshops, we are focusing in on the demand side. We are talking about what already is being done in Salinas Valley to use water efficiently, what other tools we have that we might want to consider implementing here, and bringing in some guest speakers from other regions. It is very community oriented. We have dialogue. We're not talking heads down to you, but we do want to hear from you, community input. So all of the workshops, the doors open at 8:30. We would like you there early. We have coffee, we have beverages, light breakfast, and then the session starts at 9. It is 4 hours, but I guarantee it's going to go quick. Little breaks in between. So from 9 to 10 on those dates, the next one on the 19th. We would like to get an idea of how many people are thinking about coming. So pre-registration is encouraged, but if you on Eventbrite, so the link's on our website, but if you have an idea on the last minute that you would like to join, please feel comfortable coming, even if you're not pre-registered. So that's kind of the quick and very high level overview. Any questions? Happy to answer. But as I said, svbgsa.org, our website, lots of detailed information there.
Thank you.
One more thing,
Please.
we are providing translation services to Spanish, so at all of those workshops.
Thank you. I was hoping you would mention that. You've already had at least one meeting, and I'm curious, what are some of the questions that people ask you? Because not everyone knows about your agency, and besides educating people about groundwater and water, it educates people about your agency.
That's very true. So we are 7 years old, new public agency. We are also using the workshops as to kind of build awareness around what we do, what our role is, how we interact with the other water management agencies. As we know, there is many of those in our county and in Salinas Valley. So we do get some of those questions, how we overlap, where do we get our money, what kind of money is out there to do some of the projects, is there a solution for water sustainability in the future? So some of those questions are recurring, and we're happy to dig into that and provide information and educate and inform people.
You, on your social media, you had a graphic about the subbasins around the Salinas Valley, and I know, when we shared it, we had a lot of interest in people just not realizing the complexity of those subbasins and water in general in the valley.
So we have one big basin, and it's called Salinas Valley Basin. Within that are 6 subbasins, because the geology and hydrogeology is quite complex and complicated, and it kind of tries to delineate how water moves, and there are areas that water does not move to a different area. So we need to have management plans, not only for the whole valley, but those more specific regions. And we do want to work with the stakeholders, with interested parties, to get their input, what's important to them, what makes sense for them. And it's on both ag users, but also domestic users.
Thank you. And thanks for being able to come on and talk about your workshops. I know you've had some interesting response, and we're seeing it being shared on social media, and we hope to continue to get the word out.
Same here.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Okay, same. Bye-bye.
Bye. So on to our next topic. For those of us who are pestered by mosquitoes, this is usually the worst time of the year. It is for me. Mosquitoes seem to be everywhere. The Monterey County Mosquito Abatement District works year-round controlling mosquitoes, and staff has been ramping up their outreach efforts in a very fun way. And we're very pleased to have Paul Palomo from the district to talk about that. Hi, Paul.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk with you guys. Very quickly, just a little bit about our district. We've been here since 1950. Most people don't know about us, and we've kept it kind of down in that sense. So we are appreciative that most people have allowed us to get out there and take care of most of their property and most of the things that they have going on. But we are a small district of 7 people, and we cover about 458 square miles here in Monterey County. So all the way up from Chular to about a little above Castroville and the Alcorn Slough area. We do our best to get all the way from people's backyards to, and I got 3 different things going on here, I apologize. But we do our best to make sure that we get from people's backyards to the sloughs. So the sloughs themselves, they go all the way up to about 400 acres. So we do our best to make sure we try to get as much of those treated as possible. So most people know When it comes to rain and standing water, it's perfect for mosquitoes. And these last 2 years have been great for mosquitoes. The mosquitoes have been thriving. So there are a few different ways in our integrated vector management that we use to treat them. One is through our technicians going out door to door. Two is public information. We do the best with social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube videos that we do. TikTok seems to be our biggest attractant for most younger people. And then also we get out and we use biological. We have mosquito fish. People will call the district up and they'll use the mosquito fish if they have pools that have water in it and it's perfect for mosquito larvae. We'll put some fish in there. If they have fountains and things like that, we'll also put fish in horse troughs for people. We have a lot of agricultural areas, so a lot of people who have horses and things like that. And then finally, it's chemical. And what we try to do is catch the larvae when they're in the water, and we try to treat them before they start flying off and really bothering people. So this year it's been pretty busy. One of the things that we've added to our arsenal is drones. So we're just getting into drones, where we've been able to get 2 new drones and use those to treat some of our bigger areas. They've been very helpful to help us get the material down into where the mosquitoes are. Sometimes in the pickle weeds and the high vegetation, it's hard to get to them. But most people don't know there are here in the world, we have about 3,500 different species of mosquitoes. In California, we have about 58 different species, and in Monterey County, we have 18. They all do different things. Not all of them vector diseases. Some of them are just a nuisance. Some you see them during the day, some you see at dusk and dawn. But at the end of the day, nobody likes a mosquito flying around. So we do the best that we can to make sure we get them before they hatch off. So thank you. I do appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, it was great to have you. And I'm wondering if you talk a little bit about the response to your TikTok videos, because I mean, I know your work and I know a lot of people do know your work, but those TikTok videos are kind of making you guys little rock stars.
Yeah. Well, the younger generation does not read newspapers anymore. They don't watch the news anymore. And there's more interest when it comes to TikTok and social media. So with the younger kids, they're getting it out there. We're seeing more likes, we're seeing more comments, and the attention span we've noticed has shortened dramatically. So yeah, we try to show everything that we do. So when we do our TikToks, it's not joking around per se, but we do try to show everything from the physical control, us getting out there and cutting paths, to us actually out there treating, us using our Argo. A lot of people like the Argo, multi-terrain vehicle, drones. So we try to show everything that we do in a fun and short way so that people can catch on to it.
I was kind of hoping you might show one of those TikTok videos.
I can. Let's see here. I'm not too good at sharing screens. Let me see here. I don't know if it'll let me here. Share. I don't know. Let's see here. It's my let me.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. This may kick me out if I do it. May not be able to record the content until I quit. I better not. I might run out on you.
Well, we'll share a link to your videos with everyone who's on the call, because they really are kind of fun. I mean, if people thought it was a boring job, they may think now it might be a fun job.
It is, not a lot of people know about it. And then when they see what we actually get out there and do, not only do we get to enjoy being out in Monterey County and enjoy the nature and the beauty of it, but it is a fun job. I never would expect I'd be doing all the things that I end up doing here.
Well, any questions for Paul about the district, or some of the vector work that they do, or how to get mosquito fish? And in fact, why don't you tell people how do you get mosquito fish if you need them?
So they can call us here at the district at 831-422-6438. They can come by the district. We'll even give them a tour of the district if they would like. or we can drop them off if they're in Monterey County. We can drop some fish off to them, or they can visit us on our website, which is montereycountymosquito.com, and do a service request there, or on TikTok, leave us a message.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thanks very much for sharing it. And we're going to share the link to those videos there because they're great.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. And then, of course, last but not least, we're going to talk about Earth Day. We make a special note of what we can do to protect the planet and our environment on Earth Day, which is April 22nd. There have already been some activities, but there are more coming up this weekend. Plus, there are some ongoing problems to help prevent and reduce illegal dumping and litter, which are a real problem. So we're very pleased to have Mandy Brooks with us and her colleague, where I see her, Estela. And then we've got Maria Ferdin from our Environmental Health Department to talk about Earth Day. Hi, ladies.
Hi, thank you for having us. I can share my screen, yes?
Yes, please.
Okay. So everybody can see the flyer up?
We see it.
Great. So every year, our agency, Salinas Valley Recycles, conducts a Earth Day cleanup, and it's usually along Natividad Creek. We partner with Salinas, City of Salinas, and Amor Salinas this year. So we will be out at the creek with the flatbed truck from the city, as well as some other pieces of heavy equipment. We actually get into the creek, speaking of mosquitoes, and pull out tires and all kinds of good stuff. So it's a nice workout in the morning. That's happening this Saturday from 8 to 12. If you have any teenagers in your household, they can come get community service hours. We provide the bags and the gloves and some snacks, and we just ask you to come out and do a little work at the creek. And Estela is also on the line, so she can also do the Spanish, but I'll have her do it after we're done, if that's okay.
That'd be great.
Okay, and then the other program that we're currently running is our tire amnesty. So we accept tires from residents for free up to 9 from April 1st through May 19th at all 3 of our locations. We have a Salinas location, which is our recycling center at Madison Lane, the Gonzales landfill just outside of the city of Gonzales, and then the Holland Road transfer station outside of King City. So you can bring us your tires in for free through the middle of May. And those are the 2 events that we have for right now. And I'll let Estela, if you'd like to talk about it in Spanish, I can bring everything back up.
Go ahead, Estela. And we're not able to hear or see Estela. Why don't we take it? Maybe could we jump over to Maria and then so we can get Estela going?
Yep, not a problem.
Hi, Maria. Can you tell us a little bit more about Earth Day in regards to the work the county does with illegal dumping and the task force and other efforts?
Yes. Well, I'll start with the event that's coming up this Saturday. Let me share my screen. Actually, I'll just talk about it. So this Saturday, we are working with our partners, including Salinas Valley Recycles, cleaning up Carr Lake. We're going to be on the eastern side of Carr Lake at the corner of Laurel and Natividad, where the county will be, staff from the county will be cleaning up that portion of Carr Lake. And we're going to be there between 8 o'clock and noon. There will be snacks and water, and we will provide garbage bags, grabbers, and it is open to the public. You can stop by and spend 30 minutes or the entire half of the morning with us and pick up litter. Again, it's free to the public, and you will be able to see us on the side of the road as you drive by. You cannot miss us. And so we encourage the public to join us in any part of the cleanup event. We're actually going to, there will be people along the entire stretch of that section of Carl Lake and cleaning up the creek bed along with the actual lake itself. So that's happening this Saturday. We also have, of course, the illegal dumping task force that meets every quarter. And one of the things that that's new to us, we actually go out into the community on a quarterly basis and do cleanup events. And Mandy Brooks is the one who is in charge of that. And I believe there was one in Greenfield recently. And so that is also open to the public if they want to join us. We just make an effort to be out to the community, and so they see us actually out there picking up garbage. The other thing that is happening that I don't have an update yet, but everyone knows that we have a camera surveillance program that is that we're working on. So that is still in the works, and we are working out details of that to implement. And so this weekend is Earth Day activities, and of course Monday is actually the Earth Day, the official Earth Day. But we're making the event for this weekend. Plus, if residents in the county who want to do their own event, for example, go to the beach and clean up, they can apply for a voucher. And I put the link to the voucher program on the chats. And so what they simply need to do is go online, submit an application for a voucher. We can issue them a voucher to take their materials to a local transfer station or the landfill, either in Marina or down south at Johnson Canyon. And any kind of public space that they want to clean up is eligible for a voucher. So we encourage the public to do that.
That's fantastic. I'm wondering if you could also talk about, you said people can get the voucher, but should they check in with you before doing any type of cleanup? Because I think there's probably good information that you can talk about say you want to go to the beach, you want to do something, there could be some hazards there that they might want to be aware of when they do a cleanup.
Yes, exactly. Sharps, for example, don't pick up sharps. You can let the police know that you've observed sharps out on the beach, for example. We would encourage the public to pick that up. And also, if they encounter homeless encampments, to let them be. Don't go in and start picking up material from there. But any kind of open space that the public goes to, the beach, the park, they would be eligible for an afternoon cleanup. It doesn't have to be extensive. Maybe you have it in mind with your kids to go out and just pick up some litter that you've seen, or gather your neighbors and go out and clean up a local park. We would encourage the public to do that. And if they need a voucher, they can certainly get one from us.
Fantastic. And then also, you did bring up the camera surveillance program, which I was really pleased that you did. Can you give people more of a sense of when that could actually come into being? Because I know there's been a lot of work behind the scenes to make it happen. So the devils are in the details. So we're still working on that. Hopefully by the end of this fiscal cycle, I'll have more concrete information to provide to the public. But the general plan is to purchase these cameras, install them in the field, and run the experiment for a year and see how it does. But that is the general plan right now. Thank you very much for updating on that one. I know there was a lot of interest, in those cameras. And then Mandy, are we able to access Estelle?
She is here with us. Yes.
Yes,
So
I'm sorry.
Bring back
sorry,
up the wires.
Yes, I connected through the iPad and it didn't let me unmute or the video. But so everything is in Spanish, right? At this point up.
Yes, please.
Okay. So Salinas Valley Recycles va a tener un día de limpieza junto con Amor Salinas. Ya tenemos desde el 2019 haciendo este evento. Básicamente no limpiamos el parque Natividad, pero limpiamos el arroyo empezando de la escuela Virginia Roca Barton y terminamos donde empieza Car Lake. Toda esa área ya estamos coordinados con la ciudad de Salinas y vamos a tener como quiera una troca con tractor para sacar las cosas más pesadas que estén en el arroyo, ya porque a veces encontramos llantas o cosas grandes, encontramos colchones y queremos invitar a toda la comunidad para que venga y celebre el Día de la Tierra con nosotros. Estamos dando horas comunitarias para los jóvenes de la preparatoria que lo necesiten. Ahí los esperamos y tendremos, como dijo Mandy, vamos a tener bolsas para la basura, vamos a tener recogedores para la basura, vamos a tener botanas y pues queremos que vengan con nosotros a celebrar. Cada año recogemos del arroyo entre unas 3,000, con unas 3,000 libras a 3,500 libras de basura. Can you go next to the next? The tire, do you want me to go about the tires too? You share that one, Monday. También queremos invitar a todo el público que esta es la oportunidad de que nos puedan traer todas sus llantas, que tengan sus llantas usadas. Ahorita tenemos el programa gratis empezó en abril 1 y terminaremos en mayo 19, donde pueden venir a visitarnos a cualquiera de nuestras localidades. Estamos localizados en Salinas, en Madison Lane, también en González, en el basurero y en King City en nuestra transferencia de basura. Este es el momento perfecto para que nos traiga sus llantas usadas. Puede traernos hasta 9 de un carro chico, de camioneta chica, pero con o con sin rines. En este evento sí aceptamos con y con sin rines y son 9 llantas por viaje. Los esperamos y vengan a visitarnos. Gracias.
Thank you both, and thank you for presenting on this. We do have a question about the tires because your flyer talks about the locations. There are 3 locations where people can drop off tires, but can anyone from the county drop at those locations, or it's only for residents in certain cities?
The event is open to anyone in the Salinas Valley. So as long as you live in the Salinas Valley, we will accept your tires for free.
And would that be Salinas South? So the Salinas community, or include Salinas?
It includes Salinas, Gonzales, Soledad, Greenfield, King City, and then any portions of the unincorporated area on the Salinas Valley side. So Chular, Prunedale, San Lucas. It's just our agency service area.
And Pajaro too, Pajaro and part of Aromas.
And
Prunedale.
Oh, that's very good to know. Any other questions for Mandy or Estela or Maria? I think we've covered it. Thank you for dropping in and talking. I hope you have a very successful work afternoon on Saturday, and everyone seems to have a lot of fun cleaning up that area. They always seem to have a really good time.
Yeah.
Thank you all, and thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.